Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and I brought my wife, Warda.
Again.
Okay, cool. Anyway, how do you guys like our mic this time? Last time I was literally using my headphone mic, and it was the worst freaking idea ever. It was just a last minute thing where I'm like, maybe I'm not going to bother doing a podcast. Like, you know what? No, I'm going to do a podcast. And I just figured I'll use this mic, and the mic is on the side, so I figured it was on her side, and it'll work. It did not work. It did not work.
You guys can hear me now.
Yeah, we actually did a mic check this time, and we're using my Blue Yeti. So, anyway, what's up?
Not much.
How you been since last time I saw you 5 minutes ago in the living room?
Great. Life has been popping.
Nice. So, we got a couple things to talk about in the comic book world, starting off as usual with the movie kit. I know you're looking at my notes.
It's so weird not to know what I'm
Right?
going to talk about.
What the heck? You just got finished saying it was really weird to. I should have probably prepped you a little bit. Just said it's really weird to not be able to recognize your left and the right when you look at the freaking camera.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't speak right and left.
Not in the camera, at least. Okay, so let's see. There's a lot of people complaining right now about the Disney Plus situation. The fact that there's not enough new material showing up. And the only thing that Marvel and Disney in general has been doing is mostly in the movie industry, but we can't get any new movies.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. But to think about it, I was actually contemplating last night if we should cancel our Disney and Prime. But then I know, but then Prime doesn't make sense because I actually use Amazon a lot. But yeah, because I mean, with Disney, it's a lot of mining of old stuff, which is really nice and nostalgic.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Yeah, Disney Plus really hasn't been putting out any new content, and they're promising new content. We're going to get to some new content in a little while in the podcast, but for now, they really haven't been doing a lot. They've been focusing on their movies, which they can't freaking put out. Well, you know, there are a lot of old investors who really just know the old school way of investing. But then there's some young guys also. Case in point, there's this guy, Daniel Loeb, and he has this company called Third Print Hedge Fund. That's right. He's one of those trust fund, hedge fund babies.
Okay.
And he's worth $10.8 billion. So he's up there. He's on Forbes lists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he said that Disney needs to start focusing on its streaming services.
Honestly, I don't know. For me, I'm just I have Crave, which is Canadian.
Oh, yeah, I haven't even seen Crave yet. You've been using Crave.
I've been paying for it for I think 5 or 6 months, and I think I watched one show on it.
Picard, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually 2 because I wasn't thinking Picard. I forgot the name.
Doesn't matter.
Anyways, so that Crave, obviously Netflix, Disney, and Prime. What else? And then I'm flirting with HBO, but I've never paid for it. So it's just too many services, too many streaming things.
At least they're not too expensive, and especially since we don't want to go to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I figure. How much is it for the 4 of us to go to a movie?
Yeah.
And that's not even including the popcorn and all the mandatory stuff and whatnot. Yeah. So if we went to a movie as a family once a month, that's about the equivalent of 4 of these streaming services easily.
Yeah, easily.
So as long as they're actually focusing on the streaming services, I'm actually kind of cool with it.
Does Disney do TV shows, series, things like that? Have they done that recently?
Yeah, they still put out a couple of those things, but they haven't been putting out, again, a lot of them. Mostly kids shows, which the kids are more interested in watching gaming and streaming gaming on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Because I've seen Netflix doing quite a bit. So how has Netflix been surviving and being able to produce?
No, Netflix is constantly putting out new content.
Yeah.
Consistently, constantly. Not just their licensed stuff, but their original stuff also. Mm-hmm. We're going to get to an original programming coming up later on Netflix also.
Okay.
So how do you feel about Dan suggesting that Disney Plus should focus more on Disney as a whole should focus more on its streaming service of Disney Plus?
I don't know what the the incentive would be for them. So that's something that they have to decide on their own if it makes more economical sense for them to focus on their streaming.
They did.
Okay.
And Bob Chapek, the Disney CEO, said that we are now going to start shifting to streaming. He gave this interview on CNBC on October 12th, because it's not just the idea of, hey, we could start, focusing on or keep on focusing on our movies, which have always been the classic big budget. That's where you start getting like, they were predicting $1 billion for every single one of their Marvel movies alone.
Yeah.
Plus, they own the Star Wars rights. They just got the rights to Predator and Alien. They got all of these different rights from Fox. So all these brand new properties that they never had before. And all of a sudden, it's like, dude, we're worth even more than we ever were before. That's not to mention just Mickey freaking Mouse, Yeah. And also, they own ABC. So here's regular TV services, and it's just like, listen, the thing that we need to focus on most is trying to incentivize people to buy Disney streaming, and to try and get people into the habit of possibly buying videos a little bit early, just like buying a DVD, just buying the videos a little bit early, like they really wanted to do with Black Widow, which a lot of people are pushing to happen. But Disney streaming in and of itself, they're just like, yeah, we're not ready to go there yet.
When you say buying the videos, is there a difference?
Like Mulan.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. That was a big thing on this podcast for a while. So here's the thing. Disney Plus already has 60.5 million subscribers. 60.5. So 60.5 million subscribers. After he made that announcement on October 12th, I didn't write that down. I'm just remembering it. Wow, I wrote it someplace, I thought. Anyway, he gave that announcement on October 12th. The Disney stock increased by 5.4%.
Because they're anticipating an increase in...
Yeah. So that's actually a big deal, and it does tell the idea. So now he went on with this interview. It was a really lengthy interview. I'm not going to put it there because you're going to look at my notes.
I want to cheat.
Stop cheating. My wife says she wants to cheat. You believe this crap? So anyway.
Not that kind of cheating.
So the idea is Bob Chapek, of course, he's talking about, oh yeah, we're going to follow what our, regular consumers and customers want. I guess is when you try to combine consumers and customers at the same time. They're both fighting to get out.
Yeah.
But he says that, but meanwhile, it's the investors that actually had their minds changed. And they're the ones who pointed it out. Mm-hmm. It's that old school way of thinking. And that's one of the problems with old money. And it's funny that this guy, Dan Loeb, I'm not a fan of anybody who's in a hedge fund. Like at the end of the day, they're all, for the most part, they're scum. And this guy seems like he's one of the least scummy of the scum, but scum is still scum. You know what I'm saying? So you got a hedge fund. This is what you do. You're not exactly a good guy.
Is he an investor in Disney?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so for him, he's looking at his bottom line.
Oh, absolutely, right? He is. Absolutely. So it's something invested in it. And the thing is, when you look at this guy's history, what's interesting, like when I say he's one of the least scummy of the scum, is that while a lot of the old school guys would use, I don't know if you remember the movie Wall Street that I showed you years ago. Yeah. The first movie that you and I actually saw together in a movie theater was Wall Street Part 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't like it. I didn't like it that much. It was okay, though. But anyway, it's the idea that these investors would usually break down a company into component parts once they buy it, sell it. Even the unions would be screwed. Every single worker would be completely screwed, and they would just break the company to component parts, sell equipment, sell everything, and just make a short-term investment. And even to this day, that still exists. The short-term investment, let's just make that money now. Well, this guy comes along and he's basically saying his motto has usually been, no, go into a low-selling company, a company that's not doing well, fire the people at the top, as opposed to fire, and you being a union representative and me being a strong union advocate, what do these big guys usually do? They fire the lower guys, right? Exactly. They start from the bottom. The big guys get, incentives and raises. It's like, but these are the guys who have clearly shown that they're failing. The little guys are just doing what they're told. So this guy goes in and fires the top guy. Whoever else he thinks isn't working well at the very top, replaces them with people who have proven and show that they're still hungry. And then reinvests in the company, and then builds off the profits there. Boom. That's what I'm saying. One of the least scummy of this. He still owns a hedge fund.
Yeah.
But boom, I'm good with that.
Yeah, he's raising morale, right? Like
exactly
giving people an ownership of the place of their work.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
And clearly he can't use that method with Disney because this is pretty much the biggest company on the face of the planet for the most part. Maybe not quite as huge money-wise as Amazon is in that particular regard, but definitely farther reaching, more influence, and more grounded. It's not new money for them.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody amongst the rich communities trusts Jeff Bezos, and for pretty good reasons.
Nobody trusts him.
Screw that guy. So I've been looking around on Disney Plus, and one of the things I saw is, how they've got the MCU movies.
Yeah.
But they've got all these other movies out there also. Like the kids were, just watching with me for the first time. You're watching also the original 2 Fantastic Four movies, right? The ones that made it to theater. You've never seen the one that went direct to video, a Roger Corman film, super low budget. He made it for $1 million. He made the whole movie for $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk more about that in a second. But he, what do you call it? These guys, they had all these different movies forever in the Marvel Universe, but they weren't connected to the MCU, which only started with the Iron Man movie in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? They've renamed all those movies. Just like in the Star Wars universe, where anything that's not the current stuff is considered the EU, the expanded universe. Anything nowadays that's not MCU direct is called Marvel Legacy.
That's nice.
Yeah, so they're indicating that it's in a different. Sure, it happened, but it happened in a different universe. So that's, to me, that's actually cool that now we can see there's actually a name that we can all use for once.
Yeah.
So whenever I say, oh yeah, one of the non-MCU Marvel movies,
not going in that lengthy.
Exactly. You don't have to give a description each time. It's like, here's a term, boom, done.
Yeah.
It's always good to be able to label things to a certain degree. I like it. Looking at my notes, what's up with that? I got to start running bad. So talking about MCU movies, Marvel Legacy movies, Spider-Man 3. So this is Sony. This is, going to be made by Marvel. It's technically in the MCU, but the rest of the Sonyverse is not like Venom, and they're going to make the Michael Morbius movie and Silver and Black featuring 2 other characters that, you're probably not familiar with. What do you call it? So they're making the filming already started. We talked about it last week that it was going to start. Well, it's already started, the filming for that, and they're hoping they can get this movie out ASAP. Of course, this is MCU is making the movie and whatnot, but probably the last one that they're going to be making. I'm hoping, at least. Like everything else just really needs to be delayed so they can do this focus stuff. I won't even be disappointed if they made like Shang-Chi into a 10-episode TV series on Disney Plus. Just personally, I like the episodic stuff.
Same.
Yeah.
I love.
You see a movie, it's like, here, one and done. That was really cute. Bye. Most stories, I guess, should be told or could be told in that way. But if you really want that hard-hitting drama, like to me, it's the difference between reading a comic book and a trade paperback. You read a trade paperback, you get the whole story straight through. Yeah. But if somebody's really good at cliffhangers, then you want to read the paperback, or you want to read the regular floppy comic books. Because you get that whole like, oh, cliffhanger. I got to wait a month to find out what's going to happen now. So week to week, it helps. Yeah. Binge watching kind of takes the flavor of that away.
But still, though, like for me, I like short stories. So for me, that's what I read, right? Short stories and novels. And I love reading novels. It's like you're getting so immersed in the world and the characters and whatnot. And even though it's still contained, a short story is like a glimpse of like a moment or a decision or like something very, very specific, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a novel is a lot more expanded. Same thing with like a movie as opposed to the series. I loved Black Panther. Mm-hmm. And I know that I want Black Panther as the movie, but I wish there was like a version of it that was actually episodic, because I really want to get lost and immersed in the characters and their drama and their stories and whatnot.
That's something that the DCEU is doing right now. Yeah. So with Batman and like the Green Lantern and some of the other stuff, here's a movie. Now we're going to start giving you a bunch of TV series based on that movie.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, that is actually a really great idea.
Yeah.
And every time I think about it, more and more, I'm in love with that idea.
I love that idea.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be nice if they did something like that with Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I completely agree on that. So anyway, there's a rumor that has been shot down by Sony. I don't know, by an unnamed representative from Sony, that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, that was the first Spider-Man and the second Spider-Man in the movies, respectively. You know, they rebooted them the 2 times before Tom Holland.
Yes.
So Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they said that they're not confirmed to be in Spider-Man 3. Because not confirmed, because there was a bunch of rumors. I actually saw the rumors last week, and I'm like, I don't report on rumors, but I do enjoy reporting on people disqualifying rumors.
Okay.
You know, rumors are frustrating to me. It's like we could just go on and on and on about, well, there's also a rumor. It's like, yeah, where's the source of this rumor? Is this just like some kid talking? I'm not interested. Some jackass playing Twitch, and all of a sudden he just says, you know, it'd be cool, and now it's a rumor. Did it start in 4chan? You know.
Last week you were saying someone is going to be his mentor.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, Doctor Strange. Yes.
Well, that's interesting. That's a really nice segue, even though you didn't know what was it. You didn't look at this, did you?
I swear I can't see. Like,
okay. You're even looking in the general direction. Knock it off.
I'm gonna look in the general direction. Okay?
Look forward, eyes straight, eyes front. Eyes front, true believer.
Looking at yourself is like a mirror.
Well, 2 of me. Isn't that even better? The best menage a trois ever. So here's this guy. Let's see if I can find his freaking name. Peter Ramsey. Peter Ramsey is one of the 3 directors for Into the Spider-Verse. Remember that cartoon type thing that the kids keep on watching because it's freaking epic?
Amazing, yeah.
Right? He said on Twitter, you know, Spidey doesn't really need a mentor. Like, one of my best parts, my favorite memories of Peter Parker back in the day was that he was a loner. Yeah, you're nodding your head in agreement. I can kind of agree with that too, although I'm digging the young Spider-Man who, like, I don't know, I figure, wouldn't it be great, since this is supposed to be supposedly the last movie that they're going to make, joint MCU and Sony. Wouldn't it be great if, you know, Doctor Strange is that mentor or whatever, and then he just kind of, boop, he says, you know, I'm sick of this nonsense. I'm going off on my own.
Yeah, like the hero's journey, right? When you have that young character who's growing, you gotta wean them off the mentor relationship.
Yes.
Whether you kill the mentors or they just outgrow the mentors or whatever, right? Yeah. So with this version of Spider-Man, it's like he had Iron Man, he had, what's his name? The funny guy. Happy. Such an easy name.
He had a whole bunch of, you know, we went over this last week.
Yeah.
Too many mentors, and now it's like, maybe stop.
When is the umbilical cord going to get cut, and like he's going to stand on his own, and like,
exactly,
you know, he's going to discover and fail, and yeah, like there's a lot of growing that happens once you're pushed out of the nest.
But you know, Into the Spider-Verse had a theatrical release.
Okay.
So for the sake of being devil's advocate, I'm going to, even though we both technically agree on this, I'm going to throw this little curveball in there. Spider-Man Homecoming made $880.2 million.
Okay.
That's almost $1 billion. Spider-Man Far From Home made $1.132 billion. So that's more than $1 billion. Into the Spider-Verse made $375.5 million.
I know.
So when you make less than half of even the lowest selling one, sometimes you got to wonder, where should I be getting my advice from?
Yeah.
Of course, he did kind of have, like, it is funny. The whole purpose was that he did have Peter Parker as a mentor in this. But of course, that was Miles Morales. And he specifically mentioned Peter Parker. So,
but like, how much did the fact that it wasn't a Peter Parker movie, or the fact that it wasn't,
there were 2 Peter Parkers in that movie.
I know, but like the main character
3.
wasn't
There's
Peter
actually
Parker.
3, because Spider-Man Noir is Peter Parker also.
But like it wasn't the lead wasn't, the main character wasn't Peter Parker, right?
I agree.
So
It was
did
Miles.
that play, and then the fact that it was animated, right? So did those play a role? I don't know. Again, that's me being the devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
So
what do you mean this? I don't. Again, is me being so new is you now being the devil's advocate.
Exactly.
You're countering my devil's advocate.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's just drop the Marvel stuff for a minute, because.
By the way, I liked all those movies.
Oh yeah, me too.
So even like with Doctor Strange, that sounds like a really neat relationship. I want to see how that goes.
It's interesting. Like I said, I'd rather be Captain America.
Of course.
I'd rather just be Captain America, but I guess, Chris Evans is out of the MCU for now, so.
I didn't know he was, but okay.
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm kind of done for a while. Like he's old man. He's an old man now.
Yeah.
But if he came back as an old man, it'd be cool. It'd be like,
but that's the thing,
this
though.
is how you do it.
With Captain America, it's easy for me to guess how that relationship would go.
Mm.
He's very nurturing. He's very he's got that whole mentor thing, right? Doctor Strange, not so much. At least
Agreed.
Yeah.
In fact, you know who Doctor Strange's personality best suited matches in the MCU?
Ooh.
Tony Stark.
Okay.
Even in the comic books, they're both like mirror opposites of each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can't tell the difference between each other at some points.
Yeah.
So on the DC side, Wonder Woman, it's been re-released or reclassified as coming out on Christmas, and they're holding fast to the idea that it's going to have a theatrical release this Christmas, guaranteed. Yes. But Patty Jenkins, who's always been the most optimistic, it's like, no, it's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to. Even she's like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be released this year.
Wow, this year.
Yeah,
well, of course.
Well, Christmas would have been this year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like she's even like, I don't even think that Christmas date's going to work.
So, do they have an idea of when it will work?
No. Fauci over on the American side was like, movie theaters aren't going to be safe until like the end of 2021.
Are they done with the movie, the production, the post-production, all that stuff?
No, that's an individual decision by the movie companies and the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Movie theaters are hurting bad.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they're about to go the way of the dodo, or at the very least the way of the drive-in movie theater. And it's funny, I'm hoping that means that drive-in movie theaters are going to make a comeback now. Have you ever been to a drive-in movie theater?
Ish. Sort of went, but never really.
That was my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, just think about it. The whole family goes in the car. You stay in the car the whole time. Somebody says, how many people in the car? And you say, well, this is how many you can see. You can't see the two kids in the trunk and the one, kid lying down underneath. Like, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And then everybody pops out and it's like, hey, we got it for free. We used to hide my sister all the time.
Aww.
Oh, absolutely. My dad and we used to hide my sister all the time in the backstage. Like, I can't see anybody.
Just two people here.
It's just the two of us. Yeah. He didn't want to pay the kids' price.
I can't remember.
He was such a cheap bastard. I'm surprised that he didn't have me drive and he was hiding.
Because he's the adult, right?
because here's the two kids' faces. But no, we used to go in there and it's like, here, your car, and like, dude,
yeah,
you're totally socially distanced.
You know what? Actually, I was trying to get us to go at the very beginning of COVID. Like when I say very beginning, I mean like probably in April, May.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, and then
there's a drive-in around here.
Yeah, there are quite a few actually. I know. And then
we're going. We're definitely going.
Come on, tell me the name. The Lion movie.
Lion King.
Oh, thank you. Such easy name. Like, why do I not remember that? And it was Lion King. They had that in the movie, in the drive-in movie theater.
You like that movie? The remake?
You sure you want to talk about that?
No, I just want a yes or no.
Ish.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it sucked, but hey.
Yeah.
So no, that would have been a bad idea. Listen, you remember.
It was flat.
Daddy picks the movies.
Yeah.
So anyway, aside from that, here's a fun conversation. Patty Jenkins is directing the Wonder Woman movie, and Gal Gadot, however the hell you pronounce her name, is starring as Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Patty Jenkins took over the direction for Cleopatra, and she's got Gal Gadot.
Of course, I know that.
Playing the role of Cleopatra. So
I can roll my eyes so hard they'll get stuck in the back of my head. Are you want to talk about this?
That's why I brought it up.
Okay, I think it's whatever.
You know what? Let's do this first. Let me show you this tweet that Gail retweeted. So Lechia Kalogridis, that's a very Greek sounding name, but whatever. She says, incredibly excited to get the chance to tell the story of Cleopatra, my favorite Ptolemaic pharaoh and arguably the most famous Macedonian Greek woman in history. Never thought I'd have the opportunity to tell a story like this with women who have inspired me beyond words. Yeah. So that is a very contrived text.
It is. It really, really is.
Like that thing. Like she literally went out and because she knew, right? What does she know is going to happen? She knows that people are going to be like,
yeah, she's taking that history and she's trying to validate why they're picking a woman that is more Mediterranean than North African. Yeah. I mean, like the Egyptians, the way that they're portrayed is really gross. From my perspective, the way that they're portrayed in Hollywood is really, really gross. Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians have different dynasties, right? And different dynasties are kind of different ethnic groups. So like in the later periods, sure, she's not going to look, she's going to be, how do I describe this? Like, she's going to look like the people who live in Egypt now, more or less, right? Gal Gadot is from Israel. She's Israeli, right?
Yep.
So, like, she is in the region, but she's more white than, I don't know.
That olive skin.
Than that olive skin,
darker,
right?
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah, because Egyptians don't want to be considered Africans. They consider themselves more Arabs, which they certainly do look and speak that way. But that's modern day also.
Yeah.
Plus, Cleopatra, I don't know, I guess she was considered beautiful, but there was also a lot of incest in her family. So there was a suggestion that she wasn't as good looking as they say she was. It was more like they suggested that she was exotic and not beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, like, I just find it funny. And you know what? Maybe it'll be a good role because I've never seen Gal Gadot act. And there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to be pissed off at me for saying this. Gal Gadot is a great Instagram model. She's a great runway model.
Pretty.
She's a gorgeous woman.
Like, I like.
But you've seen movies with her in it, right? Besides Wonder Woman.
I can't remember. I think the only thing I've seen is Wonder Woman, and I actually liked it. Yeah. Like, it was decent. I'm not a big fan of, to be honest, anything DC. People are gonna hate me for that, but whatever.
Really, even Shazam? Wow, no worries.
Yeah.
You have your opinion. F people who get butthurt like, over an opinion.
Wonder Woman is nice. And that movie was nice. She's very pretty. I give her that. Cleopatra. It's not even just the Cleopatra and the later dynasties, but like even the earlier dynasties, they have like whiter than white actors playing them, and it's just.
What about Gods of Egypt? Should we just do another Gods of Egypt?
I refused to even watch the trailer for that, and I was forced to see the trailer at some point, and it was just like very passively like. It's so gross.
I remember you walked out when I tried to show you the trailer.
Yeah, it's like, You're
like, no, I'm not going to watch it.
What was that other one where they were doing, they were portraying Persians?
What is it? The one that you went to see a long time, Prince of Persia, that one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one was also like beyond gross as well.
I was just laughing about that yesterday in Discord.
What was it? It was like an American actor pretending to have a British accent who has a Persian. Like, it was just like so weird. Like, I don't know why.
And nobody spoke any Farsi or Arabic in the entire thing. It was just
yeah, like just all of these movies. Hollywood has gotten a little bit better when it comes to representing languages. So it's like, when I was growing up, when they're talking or when they have characters who are Arabic speaking or Somali speaking or like just those languages that I'm familiar with, is like they literally will speak gibberish. But more recently, they have actually been speaking the languages, right? Yeah. But they're still getting Gal Gadot to represent or act as someone who is from North Africa.
There is actually an improvement to have Gal Gadot. You know who the original two actresses were that they were going to try and get to play Cleopatra?
No, who?
Before this was Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
Before that was Lady Gaga.
I can see Lady Gaga. Not that I can see Lady Gaga, but Lady Gaga is equivalent to Gal Gadot.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, they got dark hair, olivey skin. Angelina Jolie, sort of.
The hair color doesn't mean anything. You can always
color that. True.
And I guess you can always darken the skin with,
makeup or whatever.
Yeah, makeup, concealer, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch it. I know that. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me.
I think Lady Gaga is also Northern Italian. I don't think she's a Southern Italian.
Yeah.
Like, I'm half Sicilian, so.
Yeah.
I'm not more than half, but anyway. Okay. So, DC's Black Adam.
Okay.
That's going to star The Rock. Still no data, no idea when this is going to come out, but he's going to play the enemy to Black Adam is the enemy of Shazam.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a solo movie first where they're going to have a black guy playing Hawkman, and they're really trying to play things up. So there's this character, Ma Hunkel, and in the original comics, she was a mother of some kids, and she went out at night dressed as a man to fight crime, and she called herself the Red Tornado.
Okay.
This was the first character called the Red Tornado. Now there's a much cooler character that they never use in DC Comics called Red Tornado, but that's another story. And then later on they changed her up so that she was this old woman who took care of the Justice Society of America, which is technically the group that existed before the Justice League of America. Now in the movie, she's going to be portrayed by someone who is taking care of Hawkman and the Hawkman Museum, which is weird, but okay. I'm curious to see how that happens. But instead of being a cross-dresser like she was back in the day, she's going to be portrayed as a trans person.
Okay.
I have zero problems with this because I feel like this is more updated. Instead of just a cross-dresser, instead of it just being a woman who's going out there acting like that, I don't know, is that women's advocacy? Could they do something that's women advocacy? Could that be something that's like, feminist? Hey, look, here's this woman who, she's super strong. Her only real power is that she was super strong back in the day. Could it be that she's just, hey, let's go and, haha, but they're not going to accept a woman doing this because it is Justice Society, so it's old school.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays making it a trans person. And the question is, how are they going to make it a trans person? Like portrayed as a trans person. What does that mean exactly? Hopefully that means hiring a trans person if they're going to be portraying a trans person. But more than that, like, how do they address it? Do they say something? Like, here's a movie about Black Adam where you've got to introduce a character. It's apparently going to be during at least 2 different lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to also have Hawkman and all these other characters in there, and you have to establish these characters, including introducing a brand new character who's never been in the comics before. A character called Cyclone. They're going to introduce a brand new female superhero. But how are you going to also introduce this character now? And this is a golden age character. So, like, this is back when Superman was created, before, when Captain America was first created, long before there was ever a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what they're going to do with this.
I have no clue.
Literally, like, announcing stuff like this in advance, to me, just feels like pure pandering. Maybe it'll be done in the best possible way, and everybody will be like, this is golden, this is how it should be done in the movies, blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, it's like, hey, just to satisfy the world, look at this. It's like that. To me, that's not how you should be advertising a movie. This shows the hard liberal slant to movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To me, of Hollywood in general, to me. What was the point of putting that out there? Is the trans community going to, right away go, awesome? To me, I think they're just going to be like, oh, so now we have to check to see if this is going to be done well.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So.
Would you have preferred if they had waited until the release date or closer to the release date or something along those lines?
Okay, so I didn't consider this. So right now, this is what I'm imagining. They need to just release the movie. Here it is. Boom. Here's this movie that we've been waiting on since 2008. Like The Rock was signed on to this movie, I think, in 2008. They've been talking about doing this movie since 2006.
Yeah.
So even before Iron Man came out, they've been talking about doing this freaking movie, you know? So anyway, they go and maybe the whole thing is 2 years further in the future, you know, like my timeline might be wrong. The Rock might have signed on in 2010, but whatever. The idea is just put the freaking movie out. Just do the damn movie, for crying out loud. Stop giving me all these promises. You still haven't done a day of shooting.
Yeah.
You know, they're still casting people.
Intentions matter, right? So it depends. It depends. They're a business. They're a mega, gigantic corporation.
So we know that their intention is to make money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's everybody. Every company's going to say, our primary goal is no. Your primary goal is to make money. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a business, and that's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
And anybody who studied business knows this.
Yeah.
Even safety is secondary, if not tertiary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we look at something like this, I figure have a release date for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Have it so that you've put out your first trailer. And then once you've done that, and we maybe get a glimpse of this character, then have it prepared that you could either on DC YouTube or DC's streaming app or DC's, HBO Max, or go on some big, somebody bigger than me, some YouTuber who's, big on the DC universe and say, hey, so, what's going on with this character? Oh, that's my uncle. Is it? Oh my God, that's great. Wow. Tell me about this character. Well, back in the day, it was this, but nowadays we're actually going to update that to what we believe is the National Secession. It's actually going to be a trans person. Mm-hmm. So boom, 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 boom. This way, it at least feels natural instead of we haven't got jack except a promise.
Yeah.
But here's another promise to basically try and pander to this community also and all the extreme SJWs. Who want proper representation and everything. I don't think any of that is necessary.
I hope they have if they're going this way, that they have good trans writers, that they have consultants, they kind of guide them through this process.
One consultant, I think, would be enough.
But just so that they're not doing what you are feeling right now, which is that pandering. And it's they're looking at their consumers or viewers and it's these are the hot topics. These are the issues that people care about. We care about our bottom line. People care about this. So how can we cash in, right? And I don't know.
Again, the movie is called Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
It's not called Ma Hunkle.
Yeah. But this is one more element.
Yeah, one more extremely minor element that should be essentially inconsequential.
But they're okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can see how that could be offensive.
Hiring,
especially if it's not done right.
Oh, exactly. But hiring a writer, a trans community writer, doesn't make any sense to me. It's it should is this a major character in the movie? Mm-hmm. What exactly are you going to be doing with this character? Is it going to be, is it, I'm saying it as a character, not otherwise. Anyway, is this character going to be some major aspect of the film? If so, fine. But if it's just going to be a small role, something, here, there, whatever, appears a couple times and essentially has a one-liner or two here or there, a consultant would be nice and just shut up about it. Make it a nice little Easter egg that rather the trans community can go, did you guys realize there's a trans character? A trans person's actually in there, played by trans. Oh my God. And it was actually done really well. It was so that truly organic feel. When you've done something right, people will market it for you. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden you get people, in the trans community saying, let's all go and see this movie together. Let's go and see it twice just to show our support. Boom, boom, boom. To me, that's the way you do it. You don't advertise. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're going to pander. Why? That tells me exactly what your intentions are.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on a little bit. So I said I was done with Marvel for the most part.
You're going to come back to it?
Well, no. I said I was done, but I'm not finished with Disney+.
Okay.
So Disney+, they do have the Marvel universe, but they've also got a galaxy. The Star Wars galaxy. Mm. Yeah, it's not a whole universe. It's really just a galaxy. Plus, there's the Outer Rim, which is kind of extending. But anyway, the point is, there's the Mandalorian.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. When is that coming?
When is it coming? I don't know.
Oh, don't tell me it's this week. Oh, that's actually really good.
October 30th.
I'm very busy.
October, the day before Halloween. How busy are we going to be? Where are we going?
I'm making, nowhere really, but like,
there you go.
I got work and stuff. But no, I did Halloween. Like, I'm looking forward to that weekend.
Yeah, bang.
I'm very excited about my costume. I'm very excited now.
8 more episodes. Oh, who are you going to be for Halloween?
I'm not going to say.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, so there's the dates right there for the next 8 episodes. Also, there's, besides that, season 3 is scheduled to start shooting before the end of the year.
That's amazing.
According to Jon Favreau himself.
Yeah.
So they're already planning on shooting season 3 by the time that this is finished.
That's dope.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because COVID had me scared last time. It's like, no, not another story left on a cliffhanger.
I know. But they're going to be expanding the universe. They're going to be doing a bunch more stuff. They're going to try and make the one single season of Obi-Wan between when he, at the end of the Revenge of the Sith thing, when he said, I'll take young Luke to Tatooine, because the Vader would never think of finding him there where he grew up and stuff, and he still has family. Anyway, and A New Hope, where all of a sudden it's like, I wonder if old Ben is he knows who Ben Kenobi is. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is. Yeah. So anyway, in between there, that couple of years 18 years, 17 years, anyway. So bang, that. They're planning on doing that. They're planning on doing a bunch of animated stuff also. There's a whole bunch of things that they're planning on doing. Haven't heard too much about Darth Maul. Apparently the actor Ray Park, who also played Toad in the X-Men movies from the Marvel Legacy movies, first time using it. He apparently did a dick pic on Instagram. Apparently it was they're saying he was hacked, but then also apparently they got all this stuff out that his wife had said that he beats her, and the daughter said, yeah, we're terror. Then it turns out that the family is like, we never said that. That's wrong.
Wow.
So like there's this whole big thing going on, and Disney's kind of like, we're going to step away from this for a little while, see if this blows over or not.
Cools down.
So kind of hoping it does, because if he's innocent, unfortunately, if he's innocent, the fact that he's a guy and he's in the martial arts and he's built like, a brick shit house, he's never going to have, they still got the whole Amber Heard thing going. Amber Heard was married to Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Her nanny or one of her assistants came out and said, yeah, she stole my rape story.
Wow.
Yeah, she stole my rape story. I've actually got that here. Boom.
Twisted into her own story to benefit herself.
Yeah.
Says her fired personal assistant who says she was raped at knife point. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is this creature that is Amber Heard, who, like, cut off one of his fingers by throwing a freaking whiskey bottle at him or something like that. Secretly videotaped him while he was going through withdrawal after she hid his medication for withdrawal.
Yeah.
And just to show that he's not even talking to her. He's just kicking cabinets, and she's just moving stuff, and it's like, like she is a genuinely terrible person, toxic. But the idea that he's a guy and she's a girl, right away, he must be the bad guy because of course he is. And we're starting to find out that's not the case anymore. I hope I don't see her as Mira anymore in Aquaman 2. I honestly hope that she's done since his career was affected.
Did you like her as Mira?
I did like her as Mira. But since she's a horrible shitbag of a human being, no, I just wanted to I literally want her canceled.
Yeah.
I think fair is fair. If we're going to have cancel culture, let's make it honest to God all the way through.
Yeah.
So, boom. Yeah, because he lost his Pirates of the Caribbean thing. He carried those movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
The movies were garbage without him, and I didn't even like them, but I do know the only reason why I would watch them was because of him.
I like them. They were fun.
Yeah. The kids would probably like them. Here's something asking about the kid. Oh, also, Jon Favreau said that he would like to see some of the properties like The Mandalorian become movies also one day, because those lines really have been blurred between movies and TV series.
What does that mean?
What if The Mandalorian became a movie, not just a TV series?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's just a suggestion. So we were just talking about the kids watching stuff. How about a Netflix original? I told you I was going to get back to this. With Night Books. They're horror fantasy children's books by someone named J.A. White. Night Books.
Yeah. You don't say the kids' names here, right?
No.
Okay.
So Kristen Ritter. You remember her from Jessica Jones and Jesse's girlfriend in Breaking Bad? Yeah. She's going to be... Now, listen to this and tell me what this story is actually from. She's going to be portraying a witch who kidnaps a boy and brings her back to her place, and he has to tell her a scary story every night in order to stay alive.
Kind of sounds like Hansel and Gretel. Is that it, or no? Am I off?
1001 Arabian Nights.
Oh no!
Literally 1001 Arabian Nights. They're just gender role reversal.
Yeah, it's not rape. Still.
Oh, wow.
How do you feel about it?
I feel it's a ripoff. I also feel that the person who's the showrunner, David Yarovesky, I hope I'm not butchering his name, only has 2 major credits I've seen under his name. One is Brightburn, which was that Superman movie, if he was raised and he became evil, that we haven't seen yet. Mm-hmm. And apparently nobody else has seen it either. It only made $32.9 million globally. $32.9 million. Into the Spider-Verse made 10 times more this movie.
It just was not a bad movie, that movie. Why do you keep measuring it against?
Because we just got finished saying that movie didn't make as much as, this, but even then, this movie made a 1/10 of a cartoon.
Yeah.
Let's just call the spade a spade. Like, it was we all said it was a great movie. The kids love the movie. It's in the disc. It's in the Blu-ray player right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Actually, no, Thor Ragnarok is, because they're crazy like that. But they just took out Spider-Man for that. So it's right there next to the Blu-ray player right now. Everybody in this household loves that movie, including Bagel. She loves the movie. But a fact is a fact. It's a freaking cartoon.
Yeah.
It's a voice-acted cartoon. Hello. And this movie made a 1/10 of what that movie made. That's kind of disappointing. And The Hive, this movie that he made prior to that, apparently never even made it to the box office, because I can't find a single box office number for this movie. So I think it was just straight to DVD or straight to video, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now and both of these are horror movies. And now he's going to be doing this Netflix original TV series where he's basically just ripping off 1001 Arabian Nights. And nobody's supposed to notice, apparently. I'm so disappointed at the state of movies, TV series, books, like comics, everything nowadays. It's all just a ripoff of something else.
And this is obviously animated, right? It's not animated, actually, because it has a...
Unless it didn't say that she's a voice actor. So unless I find out otherwise, this is exactly what it is.
I mean, we do have a kid who really likes being scared. He loves horror.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be into it. Do I feel weird about Arabian Nights ripoff? Not so much.
Really?
I mean, there are no original stories.
I hear you, and you're not wrong, but at least try harder.
Yeah, I guess so.
I just feel like this is one of the...
But Arabian Nights itself is a ripoff of ripoff of ripoff. And people have, debates over that. Is it Arabian? Is it Iraqi, or is it more Persian, or is it more Indian? And there's a whole controversy of who does it actually belong to. All those 3 cultures kind of claim it's theirs. And what's the main character? Shahrazad. That's a very Persian name. But the title of the story is Arabian Nights. So it's for a while, centuries before it came into mainstream, or not even mainstream, English consciousness.
I hear you, but like they were always oral stories also.
Yeah.
And the first person to write them down was the Arabs.
I guess so. Even the Somalis have a version of Arabian Nights.
I believe it. Yeah. The first Hansel and Gretel story came from Somalia, their stories. Yeah. And a lot of people are going to be upset over hearing this, but the first Romeo and Juliet story, a lot of people think it's Tristan and Isolde, because that came from Rome long before, or Greece long before. But isn't there a story like Romeo and Juliet from Somalia from much older?
Yeah, a lot of cultures have all these stories running through.
I thought you were actually going to say the name. Eden and
Holden and Elmi Bodari. Yeah. So hold on.
So yeah, and that's a ridiculously old story. But you guys always had the oral traditions. Yeah. So that's the thing. When you have the oral traditions and everybody's been telling the story forever, it's like, yeah, of course. So if the Arabs claimed that it was theirs, it must be later time Arabs doing that, because that's ridiculous. Because whether the name is Shahrazad or not, I think it's mostly known that the Persians were telling this story, and they're the ones, the Aryans, who brought it down to India, and then it, of course, got over to the Arab world also.
I have been, as an African, who had friends who were Persian and friends who were like...
Also with a degree in literature.
But also friends who were like Mediterranean Arabs, or like Iraqis and Jordanians, and like all those debates, and I'm just like, okay. So yeah, but Arabian Nights is a wonderful, beautiful story, and beautiful, even though like there's that rapey element.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, it's this, like, come on, it's the sign of the times. Like, I think that they did ban that book because of that, but they also banned To Kill a Mockingbird, which you and I have agreed is one of the best books ever written. But they banned it because, it's not a good portrayal of Black people. Excuse me, it was a portrayal of Black people during the time. Mm-hmm. And it was about this particular family. It wasn't about the Black people. So I don't understand why everybody's constantly, oh my God, it's so bad.
See, that's the problem with banning. Like, for me, when I was teaching, I actually used To Kill a Mockingbird as a material. Mm-hmm. The element that people have a problem with is that white saviorism. And we talked about that, right? But for me, it was just another thing to talk about. Like, the book had a lot of things, a lot of elements to discuss. And the white saviorism was also another thing for us to discuss. And I had a phenomenal time teaching that book.
Yeah, I think it was a great book. And the idea of white saviorism, so at that time, who was supposed to save that guy? I can't remember his name right now. I know his name. I can't remember the character's name right now. But like, Atticus Finch was the lawyer.
He was a lawyer, yeah.
Like, who was supposed to save him then?
That's the thing, though. Like, there were, and like, Black people do have agency, and they did have agency, right? It's like when we create literature over and over and over again, where
they wanted to show what happens when the white community seems to go against one of their own, because you're defending somebody who's not one of your own. Like, it's
it's written by a white writer for white audiences. I actually really like the book. I read it in high school. When I was teaching high school, I taught it. So I like the book. The white saviorism part, it's another element for us to discuss. For me, it's not a thing for me to take it off the table. So I enjoyed it. But coming back to Arabian Nights and this ripoff, I'll give it a shot. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, watch it before the kids do.
Yeah.
Even that Jurassic Park cartoon, the first episode was a little
very intense.
Right?
Yeah. But they can't wait.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. They really want to see more of it. Plus they have the soundtrack. I mean, it's one of the greatest soundtracks ever.
Yeah.
So that character up there, his name is Static Shock.
Do you want to show them?
No, they know what Static Shock looks like. Plus, there's a podcast. So anyways, I'm just giving, this is a reference for you, all right?
Okay, fine.
Static Shock, he is a character. Do you remember I told you about Dwayne McDuffie? Okay, so remember I showed you that one letter, Marvel Comics? There's a black writer at Marvel Comics, and he says there's only 4 Black characters being used right now, and 2 of them are Black kids on skateboards.
Yeah.
So, and he made a really funny pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like completely humiliating and basically teaching them this is stupid.
Yes.
And they kind of realize and like, so would you like to pitch us a story? And that's where Deathlock came from. This character, Deathlock, you're not familiar with him now. But so that's Dwayne McDuffie. He started this company called Milestone Comics. And one of the many characters that, and this was basically an Afrocentric comic book company where it wasn't just regular old black heroes. Like they even had a black version of Superman who was actually a conservative. But he, learned to champion whatever. Like it was very interesting, very different perspective. And I'm not going to act like I read all of these comic books. A lot of people think because I call myself Professor Bell, I've read every comic book ever. No, I actually haven't. But Static Shock was actually a cartoon. Okay. And it was a really popular kids cartoon that I promise you, if I can find out where that is, it might be on Disney Plus, I don't know. But if I can find out where that is, I guarantee you the kids will love it. It's basically like a Black Lightning character, except he's a kid. So anyway.
They would like that.
Yeah. Well, things could potentially get a lot better because do you remember Reggie Hudlin? He's one of the guys who wrote for the Black Panther.
Okay.
Made sure he is straight up badass. And more than that, he also did that Black Panther. He was one of the heads of BET. I know you're not a huge fan of BET, especially back in the day. But he was also the guy who headed up the Black Panther stop motion animation thing. The animated Black. Remember, you liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Reggie Hudlin. He has been trying to do a Static Shock live action movie, and Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger himself, signed up to co-produce it.
I thought he was going to be the character, but
no, he's way too old. He's way too old.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, this is literally a kid. Is that there? Like what? I forget how old he was. Like 16, 14. Be
live action.
Yeah.
The kids would dig it.
Oh yeah, they definitely would. I hope that they don't make it too adult. Yeah. I do hope that they make it for kids. I've actually got his alternative head, which actually has the Malcolm X hat on it. Yeah, because that's when the character was actually made. It's during the time of Spike Lee's X movie. So moving on. Do you remember what you were always afraid of because we started talking online and your biggest fear that I was like this character?
Okay, I know this, but I'm really bad with names.
Starts with a D.
Oh my gosh. Dexter.
Dexter. Yeah, you're afraid like you're not a Dexter or anything, are you? Dexter? What are you talking about?
Well, who meets people online and spends 10 years with them? You gotta make sure.
Well, that would be you. What happened? So they finished with season 9 a long time ago, and they just now announced there's going to be a season 10.
Wow.
Yeah, and we should actually get it by they're going to start shooting around the beginning of 2021.
Yeah.
And they're going to present it to us. They're shooting for fall of 2021.
Wow. So this whole time it was being produced and being watched?
No.
Because I fell off the wagon.
Season 9 was a long time ago. It was like years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. They ended it with like him faking his death apparently.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
Okay, I didn't even see the final season.
I didn't either, but I remember because like everybody around me used to watch it, right? That was the thing. So, and then I fell off the wagon, but like people around me still watched it, so I remember that. But that's interesting. Why did they do this? Why are they reviving him?
I don't know. 10 episodes of a television series because COVID and it's like TV is the thing nowadays. So yeah, why not?
Where is it going to be?
I didn't see that, but I was literally thinking HBO Max would be the perfect place to put it.
I want it to be on Netflix. I want everything to be on Netflix.
Because we have Netflix. We're going to have to get HBO Max.
And it's more accessible.
Also. You're right. Okay, so now I've just got some comics talk. We're going to wrap up with DC Comics. Marvel is just being Marvel. They're just doing their thing. And it's, for the most part, some of the stuff is good, some of the stuff is bad.
Yeah.
But DC effing Comics. Did you ever see the old internet ads on YouTube people used to make? The I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC. Do you remember I'm a Mac, I'm a PC?
Yeah, that I remember.
So they made the jokes, the parody, I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC. And they would always try and show that DC is kicking butt on Marvel. DC's doing all this great stuff. They've got the Superman, they got the Batman, they got all this stuff, and their comic books are better and everything. Well, you know who won that contest, right?
Well, from my perspective, yes.
Marvel absolutely dominated DC, and they're just like in the back alley smacking that ass, screaming, "Who's your daddy?" That's my opinion on it also. So, yeah. DC, their January solicits are DC's future state. So originally, DC was going to do this thing called, what the heck did they call this stupid thing? 5G. Where they were going to rearrange everything and just completely reboot the universe and be like, raw stuff, so they reboot the universe so they can go back to issue number 1s and get people to jump on the comic books for new, but everything's going to be different. The old fans are going to be pissed. They're going to hope that they're going to get new fans, but it's not going to really work because nobody was excited for what they were saying. So now that guy was fired. And the guy who's been in for a while and the new guy that's coming in to replace that guy, but not with the same title and pay. I know it's a long, complicated story, but nonetheless, these guys are saying, well, we're going to do this new thing. And originally, they just had this DC Connect thing going on. DC Connect, the other history of the DC universe. Well, they basically decided, screw that. Now they're going to call it Future State.
How long was that going?
That was approximately a week and a half.
Okay.
Just enough to make 2 flyers.
Okay.
And what happened? So, yeah, they went and they said, we're going to do this thing called Future State now. So in January and February, there's going to be a bunch of one-shots and monthly anthologies, and bi-monthly anthologies, which would actually be bi-weekly to them, so twice monthly. Mm-hmm. Compositions of books that will feature different heroes in the old heroes' mantles. Okay. So it's like the one thing that they could do that is going to infuriate every single person on the face of the planet. Because you see, you've heard me talk about comic skaters, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the few times you go into comic book stores with me, there's a couple times there'd be that one guy who's like a comic skate guy, whether he calls himself that or not. And he's just like, I don't like that they made Miles Morales because we've already got a Spider-Man. I'm like, yeah, but he's a different Spider-Man. And it's like, you got a way of having both Spider-Mans and it's fine. Well, they should give him a different name. Well, I don't disagree with you on that, but the idea is that you said that you don't like the idea of Miles. I don't like a Miles Morales. I'm like, well, I think that maybe you should go back and find out who beat you as a child and rectify that, because there's something going wrong. Like, I'm sorry that you were abused. Who hurt you? Who hurt you so bad? Yeah. All that being said, it's like, it's just a freaking comic book character. Dude, don't read him if you don't like it. Like, I don't understand. Don't read the freaking comic book. When I don't like a comic book, I don't read a comic book. It saves me a lot of stress.
Right.
But they they made Thor into a woman. It was actually Jane Foster took over the role, and that's what the movie Thor Love and Thunder is going to be. Thor Part 4. They made Miles Morales. They made the Kamala Khan character, which is actually really good and didn't copy anybody, just took a name that nobody else was using at the time. But they did do a bunch of switches. They made Wolverine's half clone, half daughter. That was really freaking weird. Become the new Wolverine and goofy stuff like that. And the comic skaters jumped on that and was like, these legacy characters are ridiculous. We want our characters. I don't want Falcon being Captain America. I want Steve Rogers being Captain America. And it's like, it's not going to last forever, right? It's just a story. And Steve Rogers is still Captain America this whole time. Like, just, it is what it is. But anyway, now DC is going to do exactly that. They're going to have all these new characters showing up, taking over the roles, or start switching characters. Like, maybe they'll do that again, where it's like Superman became Batman this time. Wow, gee, I've never seen that before. Basically, it's just going to be garbage. And it's going to wipe away
Superman becoming Batman. Sorry, I'm still processing that part. Okay.
It's still going to be, I'll tell you those stories one of these days. It's going to be all of these books, all of them, for 2 straight months, January and February. All of the books that we've been reading up until now, the last issue will be in December, and then that's it. 2 months, just this extra stuff. And then in March, they're going to continue with the stuff from December. So basically for me, this family will be saving a little bit of money from the DC comic books that I will not be buying anymore.
Yeah.
That's just the way I look at it, because I'm not interested in the solicit for this, like even remotely. So what do you think about that idea? Like actually stopping all of their ongoing series so that for 2 months they can sell out a bunch of oversized anthology. You know what an anthology is, right? Okay. Yeah. So a bunch of anthology books that are oversized and therefore overpriced. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you want something DC, this is all you have. So Batman is not going to be continuing for 2 months. There will be a full hiatus. Mm-hmm. Superman, all of those books.
I'm just trying to understand the financial incentive from their end. Why are they doing this? Like, is there a demand for these products? From your perspective as a fan, you're saying I'm not going to buy this. So are other people like having the same feelings like that? I don't know.
Everybody in my circles, every single person without fail who has spoken up about this has said, I'm not buying these. Mm-hmm. I'm not soliciting these. So as far as financially, I don't know what the financial intent is here. Like, do they actually think they're going to make more money by stopping their ongoing just to do this?
Does this have something to do with COVID? Like maybe production?
That is what I was thinking. Yeah. Maybe production stopped because there was the rumor that there was the pencils down order given. Mm-hmm. So if that was really so bad that they like, we got 2 months, we're going to be playing catch up. Maybe this is what they have to do in order to, but it's like, but then you had somebody. So basically, maybe they're trying to refresh a bunch of stuff without rebooting it, which would be fine. But the way I look at it is, they did have a bunch of stuff written for 5G, the stuff that they wound up canceling because that Dan DiDio guy, he's gone. So it's my opinion, just my observation. I feel as though they're taking this stuff that should be put in the garbage can, and they're saying, well, we did pay writers to write this stuff. We did pay artists to draw this stuff.
Yeah.
So let's at least try and make a couple bucks off of this. Yeah, that's what I feel it is. They're literally taking stuff out of the trash can to pass it off as brand new in front, which genuinely infuriates me even more. It's not even like, here's my leftovers. Yeah. It's like, here's the garbage that I didn't want to eat. Here's my vegetables. You know what I'm saying?
They're repurposing content. I mean, if there's a demand for it.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Because, of course, they had to give the thing where they're like, and these characters that we're introducing, we're not saying that they're not going to appear again at some time in the future. And I think that for the most part, the rest of us are saying, but you're saying that they don't have to appear, right?
Yeah.
They could just disappear forever.
Just that dangling carrot. Like, potentially, you can get this.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And that's the podcast.
We're done?
We are.
Wow.
Okay, that was really airy. Anyway.
I am.
So, y'all, we will talk to you later. We will definitely talk to you guys later. Professor Bill and Warda, Comic Book University. Class dismissed. You should try and say it with me. Say it with me. 3, 2, 1. Class dismissed.